What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's always a huge thanks for coming back. We really appreciate you. So this week I want to show you guys a few updates. We've done some decently big changes to the garage that will hopefully help us moving forward with the business and with the YouTube channel. I want to update you on a little problem that I found on the OBS that we got to take care of sooner rather than later. I'm actually kind of bummed out, and I'm going to update you on a new part that we have that will hopefully be dropping within the next month or so. Super excited about it, so let's go ahead and check it out. Okay guys, so we spent all day Friday basically moving our entire fabrication area from this big part of the garage to the small part of the garage, and let me show you. As you can see, we have our main welding table over here now. We have the plasma cutting table up against the wall. We brought the press brake from there to there, and then we have the rack that used to be here now over here. And like I said, basically this allowed us to move our entire fabrication to this small bay over here. It's also going to allow us to have some machines here and here that should hopefully be here, man, I hope in a couple of months. I've been trying to get these things we're going on to like 2 months now. It's crazy, but it's looking promising. So like I said, once I get those machines, one's going to be there, one's going to be here. And like I said, basically our whole fabrication will now be done out of this one bay. And I wish I would have done this earlier. So I never really thought that we could actually fit in this small bay, so that's why we were kind of taking up the whole garage. And my buddy and I, Trujillo, the one that helps me weld, we kind of came up with, we started throwing measurements and kind of thinking of a good layout that would open up this big bay area of the garage. And I think it worked out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. It kind of sucked taking up the whole garage because, like, if I wanted to work on the truck, we weren't working on parts. I just didn't have it figured out right. I never really thought that we could fit in this one small bay to do all of our fabrication stuff. But again, we tried it and we're actually pretty happy with it. We think it's gonna work out pretty good. Now what this is gonna allow us to do is this thing's gonna be going pretty soon. I believe it's sold. So that's gonna be out of here, and I'm gonna move those dumbbells probably out of the garage, and then I gotta figure out still where I'm gonna put those things. I'm gonna try and get a magnet so that I can use that cherry picker to unload my material from the truck onto the plasma table. So that's probably gonna live somewhere over here. And then we obviously moved our toolbox from this wall over to this wall. I don't know if I ever told you about this, guys, but I bought this Milwaukee toolbox and I love it. I need another one now, but yeah, we have that Milwaukee toolbox there, that toolbox there, and then we more or less made a wall with these closets over here. So that kind of, like I said, it just opens up this big bay. And what it's going to allow us to do is that whenever I got to work on the truck or I want to have it in here for R&D, we'll be able to actually park it in here and work on it without it stopping us from working. Because if you guys remember, we had that welding table basically right here, and we always had it kind of out a little bit. So it kind of ate up all this room, and if you're welding, like, all the sparks would go right onto it, and I didn't want to really, be doing that to the truck. And like I said, I've also been really wanting to have the truck just parked in here on jack stands so I could develop a whole bunch of new parts that we want to come up with. And it's kind of hard, like, pulling in here for like half a day, trying to measure and test fit stuff, and then putting it back together and pulling it out to the garage. So I think, like I said, I think this is going to be a big change for us, and I'm really excited about it. Like I said, it's going to be good for content because it'll be kind of like back in the old days when I had the truck parked in here and I could just work on it. So we'll be able to hopefully make a lot more videos and come up with more parts faster. So super excited about that. Like this this big boy right here is going to be our new drop track bar bracket, and I've designed this basically so that it allows us to run about 4 to 8 inch lift kit on the OBS trucks. And this thing is a beefcake. Like, let me show it next to our current track bar bracket. So this right here is our current track bar bracket. This thing works from stock to about 4 inches of lift. This big boy over here, like I said, will take over from the 4 to about 8 inches of lift. And it is, I am super happy with this thing. Again, super beefy. We made it to where it mounts on the front of the engine cross member instead of this mounting on the back of it. And what this allows us to do is we basically have both plates going to the cross member, which makes it stronger, which you really want with a drop track bar bracket, because you're adding a lot more leverage to it. And again, we added all the beefness right here. Like, this thing is super beefy. We have it reinforced down the middle, on the top and the bottom. We have a really big mounting plate, and we'll be using the 9/16 grade 8 bolts on here with, again, 5/8 grade 8 bolts over here. So this thing is going to be absolutely beefy, and we're still going to retain our adjustable track bar bracket right here, just like on this one, so that you'll still be able to center your axle under your truck. Again, super happy with this thing. This thing is, I mean, it's beefy. Like, it's heavy duty. And again, that's going to be part of basically an entire kind of like lift kit that I want to make for these trucks. So it's going to be the drop track bar bracket, some arms, radius arms, or 4-link, 3-link, different stuff like that, and just everything that you might need to actually lift your truck. So super excited about that. I'll try and pull the truck in here into the garage today and maybe try and fit that on. I have a bunch of other things that we gotta do. We have a few orders that we gotta get out. I gotta package all of this stuff. I go through every single part. I clean off the BBs. I clean off the little bit of smoke that we get from welding them, and I make sure that they're ready for you guys when you get them. But anyways, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead, start packaging these orders right now. And like I said, once we're done with that, we'll go ahead, pull in the single cab to the garage, see how it fits being in here, and I'll show you, like I said, a pretty big problem that I discovered that it has, that I am super bummed out about, and hopefully we can fix it. Let me move the... Yeah, you're good. Okay guys, as you saw, we went and grabbed some more metal because we were completely out of it, and this thing actually does super well hauling this stuff. I believe we've got, I think it's probably around 2,000 pounds worth of metal on this thing, and it just rides better. It's basically all it does. It doesn't really even, not that it's a lot of weight at all, but it just basically makes it ride better. All of this is gonna get turned into axle swap kits and bumper brackets and all that stuff, so definitely cool. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull the single cab into this part of the garage and show you what I mean that I'm not too happy about. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. And because we're already at it, let's go ahead and get a cold start video of this thing. Just a little smoky, but we cranked over. Okay, so we got this thing back in the garage, and obviously it fits. We've had it here before, but let me show you kind of what what the problem with this garage is that this thing barely fits in here. I've got, I don't know, maybe 3 feet here max behind this thing, and I didn't even go all the way in. I still have like at least a foot and a half to go back. So with this thing actually all the way inside of the garage, this is about as big of a truck as I can fit here. I don't know what the wheelbase is on a extended cab short bed, but I'm pretty sure it's longer than these things, and I don't think it would fit in here. So again, like I said, it's super tight. That's why I haven't really done any real work to the crew cab, just because I would like to park it and be able to just work on it, but it just doesn't fit here. But luckily the single cab does work here. And I guess now that it's here, let me show you what the problem with this thing is that kind of bummed me out a little bit. Now I guess before I show you what it is, this truck was originally purchased, I think, in Oregon. I think that's where the first owner of this thing lived, and the next couple of owners lived in Oregon too. Then it went to Colorado, which is where I bought it. Then from Colorado we went to Iowa, and from Iowa we came to Arizona, and it's been here in Arizona for like 6 years now. And it's completely rust free. Like, hey, we've got an icicle. Anyways, we threw some paint on the frame, but this thing's completely rust free. And basically the entire truck, like, you couldn't find a spot of rust until not that long ago. I started noticing this a little bit, but with this thing being so tall, that's kind of all I really saw. And I was like, you know, whenever I paint it, we'll touch it up and fix it. But I can't remember why I actually had to peek on the roof of the truck, and let me show you. And this is what I found. As you can see, the top of the drip rail is way worse. Like, we have actual rust bubbles forming up here, and this is the good side. This is the bad side. So as you can see, we've got some pretty bad rust bubbles forming here, and this is the worst of it. Luckily, I think it's to a point that we can still fix it here. Like, I don't think it's like, nothing feels weak. I'm not gonna push through it. Same over here, like it's still solid. Now that being said, I don't know a single thing about bodywork or anything like that. So if any of you have dealt with something like this, let me know how you took care of it. I have an idea of what I'm gonna do, and we're basically gonna try and take care of this sooner rather than later. Because again, like I said, it really bummed me out, and I don't want it to get any worse than that. So I think here in the next couple of weeks, I'm probably gonna be stripping the at least this part of the drip rail and trying to fix that as best as I can. We are getting ready to paint this truck. It's not really going to be painted, it's going to be not wrapped either, but before I do that, I'm definitely going to fix this hood as best as I can. Just like I said, like I said, I don't want it to get any worse. Like I said, the whole truck is super clean, like completely rust free, and I definitely don't want that to get any worse. I want it to stay as rust free as it is. Like I said, I'm just glad that I think it should still be easy to fix, hopefully. Like the drip rail itself, it's pretty bad too, but I know that for the most part, this is just full of like seam sealer or something like that, so it shouldn't be that bad to fix. It's just, like I said, a bummer, you know. I didn't want to have to do any body work to it, but we're gonna have to at least try it and see what happens. Anyways, that's gonna be today's video. I know it was kind of weird, not the usual stuff. I'm waiting on some stuff to come in. I'm ordering, just a little sneak peek, I'm ordering some taller springs for this thing, some taller shocks, because this thing's going a little bit higher up. I know that it might be a little bit boring, but like I said, it's gonna get pretty interesting pretty soon. So if you haven't subscribed already, make sure to do so. Hit the like, leave any comments down below, and we'll see you for the next one.